Hello, it's Brian here. What if I told you that lurking in the pages of Scripture are creatures so mysterious, so awe-inspiring, that they've puzzled scholars for centuries? Today we're diving into the fascinating world of three biblical beasts that have captured imaginations and sparked debates for generations. Buckle up, because this is going to be one wild ride. Let's start with Leviathan. What if this wasn't just some big fish, but something far more terrifying? In Job 41, God describes Leviathan in vivid detail. Let me share some of these incredible verses with you. Job 41, verse 15 to 17. His back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between. They are joined fast to one another. They cling together and cannot be parted. Wow! Sounds like something out of a monster movie, doesn't it? I've always wondered if Leviathan might be more than just a physical creature. Could it be a symbol of chaos or evil that God keeps in check? Some scholars have even suggested it might represent Satan himself. What do you think? Next up, we have Behemoth. Job 40 describes this beast in equally awe-inspiring terms. Job 40, verse 15 to 18. Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar. The sinews of its thighs are close-knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs like rods of iron. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some theories suggest that Behemoth and Leviathan might represent land and sea, respectively. Could God be using these incredible creatures to showcase his power over all creation? It's certainly possible. Now let's talk about the angel of death from the Passover story. This is where things get really chilling. Exodus 12, verse 23 says, "When the Lord goes through the land to strike down the Egyptians, he will see the blood on the top and sides of the doorframe and will pass over that doorway, and he will not permit the destroyer to enter your houses and strike you down." Have you ever noticed that the Bible doesn't actually call this being the angel of death? It's referred to as the destroyer. I think it's possible that this wasn't an angel at all, but a manifestation of God's judgment itself. Think about it. Throughout the Bible, we see God directly intervening in human affairs. What if the destroyer was actually God himself, carrying out this final, terrible plague? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? This idea challenges our perception of God's nature. We often prefer to think of him as only loving and merciful, but passages like this remind us that he's also a God of justice and judgment. It's a complex picture that should inspire both awe and reverence. So what do these mysterious beasts tell us about God? I believe they remind us of his unfathomable power and the vast, often incomprehensible nature of his creation. They challenge us to think beyond our limited human perspective and marvel at the true scope of God's dominion. Moreover, they serve as powerful metaphors. Just as God controls these mighty beasts, he's in control of the chaos and challenges in our lives. Nothing is too big or too scary for him to handle. What do you think about these mysterious creatures? Do they fascinate you, or do they make you uncomfortable? How do they impact your view of God's power and nature? Remember, while it's exciting to speculate about these biblical mysteries, we should always ground our understanding in what Scripture clearly teaches. These beasts, as intriguing as they are, shouldn't distract us from the central message of God's love and redemption. Keep exploring the depths of Scripture, friends. There's always more to discover, and even the most mysterious passages can deepen our faith and awe of our incredible God.